Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everyday Entrepreneur. This is episode 14. So I've officially done 15 of these videos. Yeah, you did it. Yes. And this is my guest. I have like a guest person. This is Whitney. We both actually wore yellow unintentionally. We kind of matched tonight.
I like it.
We did our super secret unveiling. We're in her studio right now in downtown, but this is Whitney, my co-founder of Brand Launch.
Nice to meet you.
Introduce yourself. Who are
I'm
you?
Whitney, co-founder of Brand Launch. I also own Ivory House Photography that has been in operation for almost 2.5 years. Go me.
Yes, go her.
Everyday Entrepreneur for 2.5 years.
And I've said this, I was like, I stole Everyday Entrepreneur from Whitney. So, yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh. And I told you
I think I stole that from the world.
Okay,
but,
yeah. It's kind of funny when people think they like own something, but I still was like, Whitney said it first, it's hers. But
like, you can just have it.
Anyway, we did this super amazing event tonight. Mm-hmm. We're not ready to unveil what it is yet, later. But we had a super incredible turnout. The crowd responded not way better, but like it was surprising.
It exceeded expectations.
There it is. It exceeded expectations. Whitney's like my word finder, so.
That's one of my strengths.
It is. I couldn't think of how I built the podcast the other day, and I was just like, I don't know what it's called. I was scrambling. But anyway, if you haven't checked this out yet, we posted a blog post that Whitney wrote during her amazing airport time on kind of the struggle of being an entrepreneur. So she's been in it for 2.5 years, and just wrote pretty candidly about the experience and the highs that are really high and the lows that are really low. So I just wanted to give her an opportunity to talk about it, because being 2.5 years in is way different than 2 weeks. I was telling her, like, I feel mostly like, wow, all of the possibilities, and like I'm like doing okay, and like nothing's quite gotten in the way yet, but I'm also aware that I'm kind of in a state of euphoria. So she's my like bring me to the ground person, and not in a negative way.
I generally am good. Let's bring it to the ground. Let's put both feet on. But that I'm kind of that for everybody. Yeah. That's my role.
Yeah. Just like, come on. So talk about what your blog post was like.
Okay, so recently we've experienced the deaths of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, and the thing that links these two people together is that they're both entrepreneurs, and they're both people that when we think about them, specifically Anthony Bourdain, we think about them, we idealize the way that they live.
Yes.
Like who didn't want to be Anthony Bourdain? I can't think. In my circles, I can't think of anybody who wouldn't want to be him. So, and Kate Spade gave so much. I mean, that is a brand that I adore and I invest in and I believe in. And to think of a person behind that brand as struggling is really difficult. And I just wanted to write something from my perspective of having been in this for 2.5 years. And frequently people come up to me, the question is like, how are you doing? What? And I get that question. I mean, that's a normal question. We live in the Midwest. That's what we're going to start with.
Yep.
But honestly, as a business owner, I have like a personal answer to that question, which is like, some days I have literally like cried in the bathroom before a shoot and then come out and given an incredible experience to a client, because that's what I needed to do that day.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty well equipped to do that, because for whatever it is in me, I know that things will always be okay. I know I'm very fortunate to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Like, I think every day the things that has kept me going as a business owner is that I do believe that everything will turn out all right, even when it's really, really bad. We're talking about doubt a lot. I was speaking with a friend of mine, a good business friend of mine, and she was talking about how doubt was getting really intense with her. And, she was experiencing some success in her business, and she felt like she shouldn't have doubt anymore. And I looked at her and I was like, if you can untangle yourself from doubt, then you have a magical unicorn inside of you.
And I want it.
I want it. And I think that there's perceptions of certain things. I've now started calling it my social media presence, because it's a presence.
Yeah.
Like when you show up digitally, even when you show up in person, like there's a certain, sometimes you just have to show up in a way that you're not, that's not what you're feeling on the inside. So I really wrote about my struggles with doubt and my struggle with sometimes just showing up, knowing that I have a job to do and showing up for that, but knowing like that's not where I am. I'm not, there have been times in the past couple months where I've been the opposite of happy.
Yeah.
Like intense times. Yeah. Emily was there on the phone or just like, and that I think my biggest point in that was like phone a friend.
Yeah. Right.
I see a lot on Facebook and I think it's great that people are like, hey, reach out. It's hard. It's hard to be the person, at least in my life, I'm the person that people reach out to. I am the person that talks people off the ledge. So if I'm going to be like, ledge is real close, folks. Like, what does that do for the people around me? And I just had to get comfortable with the fact that, like, you can handle it if I'm on the ledge.
Yep.
That's hard, though. That was hard.
To lean into that and just be really honest about it and unpack all of that. It's not a conversation most people have, like, because how often, we were talking about this tonight, but like when I walked into a store in the East Village and I was like, how are things going? You know, like it's exploding down here, and the business owner was like, pretty bad, like this is the worst it's been in 7 years. And I was like, oh my gosh. But
and you as
honesty,
a client, you were like, whoa, like that's not actually what you wanted to hear.
Right.
But hearing that changed things.
Yes, it changed things a lot. Now I tell everyone, like, you actually need to go to the village because it's like people aren't doing as successfully as they say they, like, or as what the community at large is saying the village is doing. So anyway, this is the topic of today. I think if you are interested or want to hear more about the journey in written form, Whitney's written about that at Brand Launch. It's brandlaunch.site, S-I-T-E. And that went live today. So feel free to comment.
One of my favorite things I've written. I keep reading it literally for myself because I'm like, okay, like, you know, when you write something and you're like, I needed to write this for me. And I'm super pleased if other people get something out of it, but it was very much like I had to put that out there. And I think it's something that I'll like look back at in 10 years and be like, oh, I still need that.
Yeah. Or you'll be like, wow, I really wrote that.
Right.
I know, like,
that was real vulnerable.
Yeah.
Hey.
I have always said this, like, even if a blog post I write touches one person's life from my experience or my certain perspective, like, then I'm doing like what I need to do. And so I think that your message will resonate with lots of people, but even if it's one person.
Yeah. And I already got my one person.
Yeah.
I had a person like 5 minutes after I posted.
Yeah.
Like Facebook me and say like that hit home, and I was like,
good. Yeah, you're like, it's just a no hair or whatever, but
thank you.
Anyway, so that's the gist of this conversation, but it's always fun to bring a friend along. She has way better lighting than me. Mine are basically always like shadows of me. So this is what I really look like.
Looking good.
This is what she really
looking
looks like.
Good.
But so yeah, we're wrapping up a great night, and thanks for being part of episode 14. I will be back tomorrow. Probably not with Whitney, but maybe we'll surprise you. Okay, bye.